then shoveled a fork of steamed green beans into his mouth. "I hope not, but it's a possibility," Colt replied. "Our family has worked that land for generations, and I'd hate to see them sell. It's why Brand is making some changes to their operations, hoping to hang on a while longer. Seems to be having good luck with the wind farm in the south pasture, but he's banking on the organic beef. It's a big thing in the larger cities. Not that I can taste the difference. A steak is a steak to me." Several other guys at the table who were listening heard the comment. Hugo smiled and ate his food. This was very much a beef-consuming lot of horsemen, as were their weekly groups of guests. Every Sunday night they held a welcome barbecue, and most dinners, for hands and guests, featured some sort of red meat. As he ate, Hugo's mind whirred with all kinds of thoughts about the small Texas county he'd abandoned years ago, heading out on his own to seek something. A different path. Something that excited him more than a part-time job at the local grocery store. And that took him away from the humiliation that had been his first attempted kiss with another boy. Far, far away from the walking, wet dream that had been Brand Woods. Hugo wasn't ashamed to admit, to himself, but not out loud, that after realizing who Colt was, he'd done a social media search on Brand. Hugo had once fallen head over heels for Brand, a tall, well-built blonde who was 8 years older than him and about to leave for college the first time they'd met. The latest pictures of Brand showed him to be a near-carbon copy of Colt, but while Hugo could admire Colt's aesthetic, he didn't excite Hugo the way Brand always had. Only Brand had ever made Hugo want to roll over and beg. And only Brand had ever broken Hugo's heart. He finished his dinner in a slight daze, born of old memories and hurts, and he put his plate and glass in the bus bin by road, headed out into the dark, late winter night on a familiar trek back to his cabin. Most of the hands lived in small, two-man cabins behind the ranch's main house, and a well-trodden path led him forward. Hugo's roommate, Winston, wasn't there, which was fine, because he wasn't in a chatty mood for a change. His first roommate, Slater, had been quiet to the extreme, avoiding all of Hugo's attempts at communication and friendship for months. But Slater had moved on from Clean Slate, and Winston had been his replacement, both as a horseman on the ranch and Hugo's roomie. Normally, he adored Winston's ability to chat about anything. Tonight, he was grateful for the chance to sit on his bunk and think about the people he missed and the potential next stop on his wanderlust journey to find what his heart truly desired. Because as much as he enjoyed his work here with the horses and guests, this wasn't his final destination. It was a way station on the path to where he was meant to be. What if I'm meant to be back home? It wasn't the first time in the last few years that he'd wondered such a thing. He loved discovering the states and learning new things, but so much of his heart was at home in Daisy, Texas, a one-stoplight town 10 miles from Weston. He missed his mom and her comforting, if infrequent, hugs. Leaving her behind was one of his biggest regrets. They didn't speak often, but when they did, she sounded happy. Seemed happy that he was far away from what had happened with Buck. But Buck was cooling his heels in state prison for felony assault charges. His temper had finally gotten the better of him and landed him in a locked cage where he belonged. Hugo had contemplated going home this past Christmas because he knew he'd be safe, but in the end had remained here as part of the ranch's skeleton crew. He'd stayed away for years, and now he was actually contemplating going back to work and live there. He could catch up with Rem again, hug his mother, maybe give Woods Ranch the boost it sounded like it needed. Hugo knew ranching, and he was great on a horse. Maybe he could do something bigger than oversee camping trips and teaching city folk how to ride a horse. Hugo had his phone out before he really thought about it, and he found the website for Woods Ranch. The background image was a picture of Brand, Rem, and their father.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.